PC load letter? What the? Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of Zareth Prevails. We're on The Plan, which is my weekly news show that talks about all the different happenings amongst and around and amidst and adjacent to the holotables. And yeah, a lot of interesting stuff has gone down this week. And let's start talking about it. Let's just jump right in. In fact, we're not going to jump right in because I always have to tell you guys, please help me mount the algorithm, guys, by liking, subbing, commenting. All you've got to do, like, if you want to support the channel for free, you can help me with those things. Help us boost it. We are, we've been slumping a little bit lately, actually, folks, and we don't want to do that. We want to keep gaining momentum. Partially that's on me, partially that's on you, partially it's on Datacrons. Heyo. All right. I've discovered a new definition of pain and suffering, folks. Every week, I upgrade a mod for you, trying to find the perfect mod. And Bo-Katan started at 17 speed, and then we got her to 6E, and she was 18 speed. And then we could get her to 30 speed. We could get her to 30 speed. And so I upgraded it all the way to 6E, or 6A, and she's still at 18 speed. And now I just tried to do the calibration. We'll talk about the calibration update later, but once again, nothing. I didn't get a good before picture, I'm afraid. I'm sorry to say. So this is as good as it gets. And I just had to decline because it was turning, I think, some like flat protection into flat defense, which is pretty ugly, really. I've tried to do recalibration I think like 7 times between my two accounts, and I've gotten 0 speed rolls, so that's pretty neat. In terms of content this week, folks, and this is actually news, but I can't find it in my heart to talk about this again. For me, the grief is still too fresh. I am so frustrated. I'll give you a really brief overview. CG said that they gave us a really dumb. See, I'm still so pissed and biased here, but they gave us this question, like they did answer the Q&A that they just made up basically, and they were like, oh, here's a question that no one asks, but here's the answer. Where are we gonna find all the mats to do rerolls for Datacrons? Where are we gonna get all the upgrade mats? They're like, okay, one's in Territory Wars, one of them is in Conquest. And of course, that's not exactly what happened, but once we got to the Territory War rewards, we ended up seeing that they were the exact same thing from before as they are later. So if you can't earn Mark III rerolls if you're in a small enough guild, guys. And it's not that small of guilds. You just can't earn them, even if you win Territory Wars. It's a pretty garbage thing. If you guys want to go watch that video, I had a lot of people tell me that they really liked my video because normally I'm too reasonable. They like to see some emotion. I was like, F you. No, it was funny though. All right, the other thing that I did this week, and it takes so long to updo these infographics, but I hope this is something that will help the community. Just for reference, I compiled all the different requirements and costs for the different Galactic Legends and stuff. You can get this infographic in my Discord server. Go to the comment in the video description, folks. There's a Discord server link, and you can find it in the infographics channel toward the bottom of the Discord. And I will be updating this once we actually have Jabba's real gear requirements. Right now I'm just using Supreme Leader Kylo's gear requirements as a stand-in for Jabba himself. Otherwise we have all the other ones, which these are all accurate. So go and compare these, guys. It's a fun thing to do this analysis. I can't wait to get Jabba's kit. We'll talk more about Jabba's kit in a little bit. But alright, otherwise, account news. My alt is once again in Kyber 1. We're doing the Kyber 1 ping pong, apparently. So there's only 5,000 people in Kyber 1. I only have 2 Galactic Legends. And I did better than expected. My video will be out on how I ended up, so I have a video out about my alt, getting into Kyber 1 with only 2 Galactic Legends. But then, of course, we ended up losing enough that we had to get kicked back into Kyber 2. It wasn't too bad though. It was better than expected. And now I just won a match. I don't want to give you spoiler alerts, but we're in Kyber 1 again, folks, in 3v3, which is really difficult for an account this size. So, just beat a legitimate 9 million GP where we were at 7.5. They had 6 GLs, we had 2, etc. And it's just fun to do it, guys. I realize that some people hate the matchmaking, the new matchmaking for GAC. I know that's been a bone of contention for a lot of people. And I just have to say, so I understand where you're coming from. I know you don't like eventually you'll get so high that you'll just get torched, you'll get destroyed. I just have to say, I personally, on a personal level, love it. I think it's wonderful. I don't want them to change it on my own for myself. I don't want them to change it. I love that my account gets meaningful fights now, that I get to actually try to punch up and beat some of these bigger accounts. It is a lot of fun to me. And if it's not fun for you, you have my sympathy. I just want to express that I personally love it, and I'm not apologetic for that whatsoever. It's not even that new, but the matchmaking, wonderful to me. For whatever that's worth. You guys are gonna be like, oh, you're so disconnected. That's fine. You guys will live. You guys will live. I just like that competition, and I know for a fact that there is a large group of people who likes it. Whether or not we're the greater preponderance of players and whether or not it's good for the game is not really my concern. So we'll just move on. Now, I did actually get perfect waves on my main account for territory battles for light side. And it felt good. It was like, hey, I'm ready. My body is ready. We can go do the new territory battle that they announced. Kind of exciting, guys. I don't know. I'm glad I got this one screenshot. It's probably a direct result of me getting profundity, so then it's not a coin flip on whether or not I'm going to beat fleets or not. Alternatively, or alternately, I should say, look at the third slot there, guys. That is my alt. I just got 71 waves on that, and that was partially because I was kind of an idiot, and I was like, all right, I'm saving Shak Ti in phase 3. I always have struggles with the one light side node. I just don't have a good team for it, and so I was like, okay, we have to keep Shak Ti set aside so we can do the cam mission, and then at one point I just had this really brilliant concept of hey, maybe I'll use General Skywalker on that light. Why don't I do that? I can save it. I have enough Galactic Republic Jedi to go on that wave. I can save Shak Ti and keep General Skywalker. And so I used General Skywalker on 501st, and then I was like, okay, now I'll do my cam mission. And then I was like, oh, I guess you need 501st for that. I know you can try with Bad Batch, not on that account though. That account would not even let them through the gate. So the byproduct of that is I got really good waves for one territory battle. Alright, so I got Red Crate a little bit ago. And I have to say, so right now they're limiting our number of data cache. And all these Datacron issues aside, I want, for my main account, I would like to engage in Datacrons and actually find a lot of aspects of them enjoyable as well, even as I have major issues with how they're implementing them. I'm not saying that you need to, but that's my experience. I enjoy Datacrons on some levels. I like that added complexity that I realized is probably not that great for the game, but I like it. So, no accounting for taste, right? That's probably how, that's probably the only way I got married, is all. So, that being said, folks, can we just, when we hit Red Crate, I get that CG wants us to engage in the game and be in the game, and they brag about the metrics. Man, our players love this game so much, they play it for 3 hours a day. They play it for 7 hours a day. Our people are hopelessly addicted to our game. I know they love those metrics. And so I probably am just screaming at the wind, but could we please, once we hit Red Crate, for those overachievers of us who bludgeon our way through early, could we please just get a sim button on the treasure nodes, please, so that we can get more credits? I'm actually not worried about the economy in terms of the Datacronic tournament. data cron economy in terms of the data cache and a lot of the materials. It's fine. I don't like the Mark III thing, but we've already talked about that. I've ranted about it. I do hate the amount of time it takes for me to hit auto and go in and hit auto and go in and hit auto. I know that maybe sounds like complaining, and it is. I could be saving time. I want a sim button. I've already gotten Red Crate. I've already engaged in this stupid game mode enough. I don't like Conquest. It's not fun to me. I don't like that grind, and yet they're making me do it because I don't want to spend a bunch of money on data cache. So please give us a sim button. Please give us a sim button. Wait until we get to the Red Crate. That's fine. But then give us a sim button. Damn it all. One of the nice things of this new update, folks, is we can forfeit whenever, instead of getting stuck in an endless loop and having to force quit in territory battles, or just being in a fight where you're like, you know what, they're just gonna delete me here. This is so frustrating. Or you want to quit before you don't know if you're gonna get another turn, but you need to quit so that you don't load turn meter. All of these things are now, so it's not real clear, guys. I'm sorry to say. I should be brighter. I should have put arrows on the bottom right or something, but this is what it looks like for your opponent is taking a turn. And so I don't have any buttons on the bottom right to push. And yet I can forfeit. That's nice. That I have to say, like, they didn't add this to the original update notes. And I'm like, dude, CG, take credit for this. They did actually edit it in, but I'm like, look, you need wins right now. This is something we've been asking for years, literally years. This is an amazing feature. This is going to be something that we all forget about conveniently when they're like, man, CG doesn't do anything right. They can never do a single thing right. I hear people say that. Never do anything right. This is something they've done right, folks. Unequivocally, there's no downside to this. This is amazing, and I'm glad they did it. And then they didn't take credit for it. I'm like, dude, you guys suck at this communication thing. That's the only bad thing they did about that update, particularly, because they didn't tell us about it. What the hell, man? All right. Another thing I really like about this update, it's all about mods. They finally just recognized, like, they've just said, okay, fine. Speed is really important on mods. We get it. And so they didn't, like, increase the amount of speed that we get or whatever. They didn't, you know, they're giving us options to kind of craft these cooler mods, and I like that, kind of. The jury's still out on that, frankly, but I will say I love that they highlight speed on these mods. Whether or not it's a good idea to buy this particular mod is another question. I think it's probably worth it if you have like 70 million or more, honestly, because it's a triangle. Though, to be honest, now they're making triangles. That's another thing that they did. They made triangles, even though they're the most rare for drops and everything. They made them equal drops now in the mod battles, which is also really it's a really nice change. They also this is beautiful, guys. This is wonderful. I mean, they're probably prepping us for 7.mods. I mean, that's probably as dirty of a word to a lot of you as Relic 10, which Relic 10 is right around the corner. I feel like that's going to be territory battles. Like, when they roll them out, they're going to be like, hey, good news, folks. Relic 10, and we'll be like, CG, please go back to not announcing your awesome update things. Like, go back to doing that and leave us alone and don't give us Relic 10. And they'll be like, tough, guys. they'll be like, yeah, we'll totally do that. Not. So, anyways, when did this ever happen, guys? Okay, so the mod calibration, like I said, it's still up in the air, but all right, so they smashed all this stuff here, all of these cool materials. I love this, love this. At least right now I do. And then when did the last time they gave us some kind of currency or material, whatever you want to call the mod calibration pieces? When did they ever release a new thing and immediately make it farmable? Was it like Bodhi Rook like 5 or 6 years ago? I really, like, when they released Bodhi Rook, he was not a good character even back then. But when they did release him, he went straight to the Galactic War store. I think might be the first time. Like, I was sure they were going to make it like just give us like either packs or just give a drops, like random drops in like GAC or whatever. But we could immediately farm it. It's cool. I don't know. That is totally different than the way they normally do things, and I actually approve of that totally different thing. They also gave us new ways to filter our mods, and whereas I don't think that they're perfect still, I love that they can actually, you can save different filters now. This photo isn't actually doing it justice. On the left, you can kind of see a couple letters. You can save your filters though. So you don't have to, like, I have so many times been like, okay, find me everything with speed secondaries and then sort by speed, and then, you know, now give me all of the mark Bs, or the level Bs, or whatever you want to call them. And then, you know, then I can sort and I can find the fastest of all of my purple mods that I could maybe, you know, upgrade or whatever. And now I can just do that automatically without having to click like 80 times. Really, really nice. Not to mention you can do your batch upgrades on them. I'm very excited for this, guys. I like this a lot, and frankly, I don't love that we have to spend money on like an outside app. Like, group Hot Utils is great, don't get me wrong, love him, and you know, love Hot Sauce, he's a good dude, and at the same time I don't love that a lot of people are like, man, if I want to manage mods, I have to pay this guy a bunch of money. Like, I don't love that. You know, $10 a month, that's fine, that's acceptable to me personally. It's not really, it's pretty objectionable for a lot of people, though. They don't want to spend that money, and this is a substantial boost. Like, this is a good change. There's nothing negative that I can see about this. Added options to the filters, wonderful. Mod management is good. Now, I have to wonder, okay, like, are they getting ready for 10v10 or something? Like, this is crazy. I don't like this. As a content creator, and I have to take screenshots of this, like, they spread out all the squads a ton so that we can't see, like, this, and to be clear, I think 10v10, you guys don't like 3v3, and I get it. 10v10 would be just impossibly broken. It would be a total chaotic, stupid mess. It'd be awful. Okay, so the mod update. So no more 4-dot mods in the last tier of mod challenges. Very positive change. Flattening the shape of drop percentages in the last tier of mod challenges, which is very nice. So the triangles drop and the crosses drop at the same rate that squares and circles do. Wonderful. 6E to 6A. Mod slicing mats are in the last stages of mod. Yeah, wonderful. All these things, really cool stuff, guys. Now, in terms of the calibration results, folks, one thing that they promised that they would not do, and this is just a big fat lie. I'm not. So if you go to their like road ahead thing, they're like, hey, mod calibration, here's the thing, and they interviewed a bunch of people, and I really liked what all the developers said. Actually, they were all pretty well spoken, very passionate about the game. I really liked what they had to say about all of the stuff for the most part. However, one of them did say, and this picture doesn't actually show that specific thing, but I wanted to make sure we had a picture of it. They said, okay, when you do the mod calibration, we want to make sure that whatever you do, you can't get it worse. And maybe what they meant was you can discard the changes at the end. However, it can be very disheartening, folks. I thought that at least you were excluding a roll on the type of, you know, the secondary stat that you don't want. So it's like, okay, I have flat defense. I want to turn that flat defense into something different. And so, you know, then you roll it. The thing is, you can still get flat defense on that roll. It's just like another roll on the mod. It's like you get rid of one, and it's not always the lowest one. Sometimes it's the best roll, but you get rid of one roll, and then it magically appears somewhere else, or maybe on that same stat, and that stat can be lower than it was before. So you're like, okay, flat defense of 12 or something. You re-roll it, and it's like, hey, congratulations, you just rolled flat defense of 7 with that same roll. Like, I feel like that wasn't really represented earlier. Like, none of the graphics showed that we could just re-roll to the same stat. I guess in the end it makes some sense. Essentially it's just a reroll, and you get to choose which stat is going away. I mean, there's certain nice things about it. However, I wish that they had made it just a tiny bit. I mean, I don't know, CG. Can you really afford more player tiers right now? Frustration over this, mods are so close to Datacrons. People see the stat stuff is very similar. I don't know. I wish that we could roll and just exclude one stat from being available. That would be nice. Oh, here we go. Yeah. I mean, here we go as in. Cool, so we got rid of some flat defense and got some potency. I don't know why I included the second screenshot, to be honest. Okay, so this is their latest update, and so, they recently said, hey guys, we're going to, due to economy reasons, we're going to say that Relics 8 and 9 do not require any of the level 1 and 2 relic materials, like the chromium and bronzium stuff. They're not going to require them. Not going to be a thing anymore for Relic 8 and 9 because it's too much. And I mean, my response has always been like, well, if you have enough to get to 8 and 9, then can't you, like, most people can afford the level 1s and 2 materials, but I mean, that's fine, that's a good change. However, CG has then kind of undermined their own statement by saying, like, hey, we're requiring this Relic 9 fish guy for must-have ship. You have to have Relic 9 on him, so you have 2 upgrades that require these low-level mats. And they ran the event, and now that everyone's paid for it, or at least all the spenders have paid for that fish guy to be level 9, now they're going to upgrade it. Now they waited long enough that we all had to pay for it. I don't know, like, CG, if you're listening, which you don't listen, maybe you're listening, who knows, but I would suggest, humbly, I'm not being that humble today, guys, sometimes I am, but I will just say this. It would be an enormously powerful goodwill gesture to a lot of people in the community if you gave us a refund for these characters that we've already gotten to 8 and 9. I don't think it's going to cost you that much. The spenders are still going to spend, but it would be a really nice gesture to get a whole boatload of those materials. That would be nice. I don't know if you're going to. I partially think I don't know, guys. Let me know in the comments. Do you think they're going to give us give me a thumbs up on this video if you don't think they're going to give us a refund. That is me being disingenuous. No, but alright. So the one thing someone pointed out to me, I didn't notice this on my own, but the Boosh, there's 2 H's, event is running for like 3 weeks or something like that. And so this is a screenshot from earlier tonight. And I'm wondering if this is a countdown to when Jabba is available. I also want to point out, actually I don't have a graphic for it, but Chrysanthemum, if they were following their own release schedule, Chrysanthemum should be farmable right now. They've been always, every single time, 4 weeks and then another 4 weeks for marquees. Maybe it's been 5 sometimes. Either way, Chrysanthemum should be farmable right now on something, and he's not, which I feel like is a little bit frustrating. As in, like, really, I'm like, kind of angry. I'm an angry person lately, guys. I'm just stressed from so many things. But here's the thing. Why they're just delaying the character that everyone's like, we need this, CG, we need this. They just want us to panic and spend. I mean, that same tactics as always. It's nothing new. It's old hat for them. Please make him farmable, please, because I'm gonna light whale on the other 2. I'm not going to do that for Chrysanthemum. We're gonna have to quote unquote farm him the hard way, whatever that means. I really wish that they would make him farmable and be consistent with their other marquee releases. Please just do that. But I guess they could make him farmable on Friday. I mean, we have still 1 weekday left, though they usually don't do that on Fridays. Finally, folks, some speculation. This is from the thumbnail. When will we see Saw Gerrera in the game? I think that we are going to see him as another rebel fighter leader, just like Mon Mothma, at some point. This is just speculation, but I think we're going to get Saw Gerrera sooner than later, because Mon Mothma is the the calendar character, which doesn't have to mean anything. However, Andor, the show, is about to debut in a week, and we know for a fact that Saw Gerrera is going to be in there as a character. He is an important character, folks. He's in what? How many different shows? Like, so he's in the Clone Wars. That's where he first showed up. He was in Rogue One. He was in Rebels. He's in Bad Batch, and now he's going to be in Andor. It's 5 different mediums in the Star Wars universe. He is all over the place during that era. He's very important for certain corners of the galaxy, and there's even whole books based on his organization. And, they're not like the most amazing books, but I'm just saying they're important to the lore. Why can't we see Saw? Plus, it would be nice to get another Rebel Fighters leader. We have a lot of Rebel Fighters. Mon Mothma can only lead 4 of them. It'd be nice to get Saw to help, and maybe he'll do a turd polish on on Hoth Soldier and make us all spend 400 Carbanti to gear that worthless sack. That being said, folks, I believe this is over, so let me know what your thoughts are. I'm turning it over to you. We'd love to hear your comments on this. Thank you all so much for watching, and remember that in all things, Zareth prevails.